Hey everybody, welcome back to the CTE Companion. Today we have part 2 of our UFC Casuals guide, and that's going to be covering the basics of grappling. That weird stuff where two grown men lay on the ground and hug each other that your weird friend who's way too into the UFC thinks is entertaining and swears to you that you're a casual for not enjoying. Well, today I'll be breaking it down for you because luckily enough, I'm that weird friend. Before we get into it, if you could please drop a like and subscribe. We're aiming for 100 subs by the end of April. So far, not going too well. Probably my fault because I haven't been uploading too much. But yes, if we could please drop a subscription, that would be fantastic. First up, we're going to go through some positions. So we have guard. You might hear the commentators talking about this or your friends or whatever. So let's just break down the positions on the ground. Guard is when, as you can see, this gentleman's legs are around the torso of the other gentleman. That's going to be guard. Predominantly, these positions have to do with the leg position of both people. So this is guard. It is in actual jiu-jitsu, it's probably a pretty 50-50 position, but in MMA, anytime you're on bottom is going to be disadvantageous for you. The top guy's almost always winning because strikes are going to be a big factor here. In this position, only the bottom guy really has submissions. But yeah, in MMA you can punch and elbow, so that's what brings it takes it from neutral to a bad position for an MMA guy. So you'll see a lot of jiu-jitsu predominant guys like who come from a jiu-jitsu background will feel comfortable here because yeah, as I just said, in jiu-jitsu really only the bottom guy has submissions. You can attack your arm bars, your triangles, your kimuras, stuff that we're all going to get into later. um yeah, next up we have half guard. So as you can see, the difference here is that the guy's leg is around one leg instead of the torso. So this is kind of a better position for this one might actually be 50-50. In a position like this where this guy on the bottom is up on his shoulder, has an underhook, which is something we'll get into later. Obviously, he's getting fed with elbows here. That's not a good thing, but this is a better position to stand up from, to create space, to get a sweep. A sweep is any time that you end up from a bottom position to a top position. So there's sweeps from half guard, sweeps from guard. Not really too many sweeps from mount, but yeah, so there's a vast number of them, so we're not going to get into those. But yeah, anytime someone says a sweep, it's any position where you start on bottom and end up on top. Half guard is a great position to sweep. This underhook is very important. I'm sure you'll hear the commentators talk about battling for that underhook in the position. Anytime you're flat on your back, let me go back here. See, this guy's flat on the back or flat on his back. That's a very bad position to you. You want to be on a shoulder, on a hip. Anytime you're flat is bad. This is actually, although you're going to eat some shots pretty much anytime you're in a bottom position, and striking from a bottom position is really bad. This isn't really a training thing. This is just more of an understanding. But when you see a guy throwing up little shots from bottom, it's not going to do anything. Uh, yeah, half guard, better position than guard for standing up, but a little bit more risky, a lot more volatile. This is mount. We have Conor McGregor here. He's in mount. The difference between guard and mount is that he's past the leg. So if you can see my cursor, I think that's Dennis Seaver. Dennis Seaver's legs are behind Conor McGregor. He's sitting on the torso. This is probably the worst position you can be in, especially in MMA. Um, in pure jiu-jitsu, it's not the worst, but in MMA, you're just gonna your legs are a non-factor here, and the guy on top's legs are a factor, and he has so it's four limbs on two. You're pretty much stuck here. You're a long way away from getting back up, and you're gonna take a lot of shots trying to get back to your guard. Uh, Next up we have side. No, we have back. Sorry. Here we have a back with a body triangle. A body triangle, as you can see, the gentleman who has the back, His legs are figure forward around the torso of the gentleman whose back he has. Back is, well, pretty self-explanatory. This is, yeah, a back body lock. This is a really bad position. I think it's a little bit worse in jiu-jitsu than it is in MMA because you can't really generate the leverage to strike and do damage with striking, but neither can the guy on top, and you're just going to be threatened with nonstop submissions here. This is a really bad position. The most popular submissions are from the back. Not the most prevalent submission. So 38.5% of all submission wins are by rear naked choke, which is from the back. So this is a really, really bad position. We will go over that in a little bit. The submissions. And our final position that we're going to cover, this is actually this isn't the final position, but this is actually crucifix. But the final position we're going to cover is side control. That's where you're past the legs of someone, you're out the side. The difference between side control and crucifix is that Khabib Nurmagomedov's legs are controlling the arm here. That is a really, really bad position. You are, excuse me, you are your one arm against two of the top guys. He could probably he's not probably he's gonna control your other arm with one of his hands and use the free hand to just hit you in the face uncontested. You're a really, really, really fucked here. Like, that is a fight ending position unless your name is Hamzat Chimaev and you're fighting DDP. But this is a casuals guide, so references might not exactly be the best. Anyway. Next up, we have north-south. That's, as it explains, one guy's north and one guy's south. This is where you get the really, this is where you get some of those positions. The, you ever see the meme UFC when you're watching Alone versus UFC with your friends? That's probably a north-south. Yeah, this is a north-south choke. So, yeah. Anyways, next up, we have the takedown. So this is the wrestling base, a double leg takedown. As you can see, head is on the hip, which we're going to call the outside. Right arm is around one leg, is around the left leg of the gentleman, and left arm is around the other leg. Hence the double leg. You have collected both. We have the single leg where your head is on the inside, and you have Jordan Levitt here has one leg, the left leg of Paddy Pimblett. Head is on the inside, and a high crotch. Which the difference between the single leg and the high crotch is the head position. Head on the outside, like the double leg, and head on the outside with one leg is the high crotch. Head on the inside is the single leg. These are all takedowns that are going to get the fight to the ground. Following that, we are going to, we're going to talk about some arm positions. So you might hear the terms overhook, underhook, and whizzer. This is a whizzer here. This gentleman's arm controlling the guy who has an underhook. So the underhook is this arm here. It is under the arm going towards the back of this gentleman. The whizzer is this gentleman's arm clamping over the underhook. This is a great defense to an underhook because anytime someone has an underhook and the other person doesn't whizzer, 9 out of 10 times the back is available to be taken, standing or on the ground, which is going to be bad. The whizzer is a defensive maneuver that prevents the person with the underhook from getting to the back. Next, we have the overhook, which, as it explains, the arm is over the other person's arm and shoulder. The underhook, it's under. Both these are advantageous positions. If you are controlling the other person with an underhook or an overhook, you're attacking different things, you're looking for different things, but these are both very advantageous positions. This guy is using the overhook to set up a triangle choke, which is not our next minute. We'll just go right to a triangle choke. So a triangle choke, as you can see, is when you have your legs one arm in and one arm out. So you have the person's head and one arm inside your legs, figure forward or triangle. So we saw the body triangle all the way back here. Too far back. Yeah, we saw the body triangle. So, it makes a triangle. Uh, we have the triangle choke, which is a choke. Your left, in this example, the left leg is cutting off one carotid artery, and you're using the right leg to force their shoulder and arm across the other direction, using their own shoulder to shut off the other carotid artery. You need one arm in and one arm out. There's no submission with one arm out or with both arms in, or there's no submission with just the head. I mean, there is, but there isn't. Next up, we have an arm bar. So that is, this is kind of a graphic picture. This is Charles Oliveira arm barring Tony Ferguson. That was absolutely insane. This actually somehow doesn't end in a tap. Yeah, it's a shoulder / elbow lock. If you get it deep enough, that's an arm bar. Next up, we have a rear naked choke. As I said, this is the most popular submission. By far, it more than twice as often ends by, or it's by far, it's more than twice. The guillotine choke, which we'll go over next, is the second most popular submission. Rear naked chokes happen more than twice as often. Almost 40% of submissions end by rear naked choke. Sometimes you get it. It's not the hardest thing to defend. Actually, this thing I just realized I'm looking at is from. Oh, no. Sorry, I thought it said 2008. It's actually from 2 years ago. Anyways, you'll get this a lot when someone wants to give up, and it's not going to show it. They'll roll over and give their neck, and so they'll stop taking a beating. Probably 30 or 40% of rear naked chokes are someone conceding defeat, and instead of just tapping to strikes or whatever, they just give up their neck. This is a rear naked choke. We triangle armbar, rear naked choke, guillotine. Shout out Tresean Gore. I picked against him last weekend. He won by guillotine last weekend. This is from earlier. A guillotine, you can have one arm in or both arms in. Or not one arm in or no arms in. That's when you get one arm under the chin and you are squeezing the neck. This is a standing guillotine. You can have a guillotine on the ground. Anyways, so that is a very basic, very brief overview, just so you can have a little bit of understanding of what's going on the ground if you don't train. It's very confusing. It's even confusing if you do train. There's a lot of positions. There's a lot of minutia. There's a lot of stuff in between that doesn't make a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, it can still be very boring. Grappling can still be very boring if there's not a lot happening. If one person's staying in half guard in guard and they're just hitting little strikes, just not trying to be stood up. Also, yes, in MMA, in the UFC, if there's not enough action on the ground, they will stand them up. But yeah, hopefully understanding makes it a little bit less boring and bridges that gap and makes it a little bit less confusing. And hopefully it makes your UFC experience just that much more enjoyable. Thank you so much for watching and have a great night.